This is the result. Nextcloud is running on our own server. Files, photos, calendar, contacts, office editor. Everything in one place, fully under our control. It took about 20 minutes to get here. Let me show you how. Before installing anything, you need to decide where it's going to run. There are 3 options, and the choice affects the price, the speed, and how much time you'll spend on setup. Option 1, a rented VPS in a data center. This is the simplest path and the one we recommend for a first installation. The advantages are significant. You get a public IP address right away, the necessary ports are open, you have a wide bandwidth channel, and power and internet are not your problem. The server is accessible from anywhere in the world with no port forwarding required. The downsides, there's a monthly payment and the data physically lives on someone else's hardware, though encrypted if you configure that. Disk storage is also noticeably more expensive than at home over the long run. A terabyte on a VPS costs significantly more than a terabyte on your own hardware. The minimum requirements for Nextcloud All-in-One are modest. You need at least 2 CPU cores and 4 GB of RAM. Nextcloud will install on 2 GB, but Collabora Office and full text search will stop working. Start with 40 GB of disk, plus space for your actual data. Ubuntu 22.04, 24.04, 26.04, or Debian 12/13 as the OS. Why 4 GB and not 2? Nextcloud. All-in-One doesn't launch one container. It launches many. Nextcloud itself, a database, cache, an image processor, full text search, and an office editor. On 2 GB this will start, but you'll have to disable the office and search. From our server lineup, the mini configuration works well here. 4 CPU cores, 6 GB RAM, 120 GB SSD. One important note on jurisdiction. A server operates under the laws of the country where the data center is located. If that matters to you, choose the location deliberately. Option 2, a home server, a mini PC on your desk, a Raspberry Pi, an old laptop. The advantages: you pay once for the hardware, then only electricity. Disks are cheap. You can put in 4 terabytes if you want. Your data is physically with you. The serious downside is CGNAT. This is when your internet provider assigns you not a real external IP address, but an address from a shared network with many other subscribers. In that case, port forwarding is impossible and nobody outside can reach your server. What to do about a gray IP? First option, call your provider and order a public IP. It's a few euros a month. Second option, use a tunnel like Cloudflare Tunnel, or a small VPS as an entry point. That works, but the setup is outside the scope of this series. For a first installation, we'd suggest just taking a VPS. The second downside of a home server is upload speed. Your connection is asymmetric. You download fast, you upload slowly. When you open a file from your home server on your phone at a cafe, you're limited by your upload speed. Check your upload speed on any speed test. If it's under 20 megabits per second, working with large files outside the house will be uncomfortable. Option 3, ANAS. If you already have a Synology, QNAP, or something running TrueNAS, Nextcloud can be installed from the App Store or as a Docker container. The advantages are obvious. The box is already running, drives are in RAID, backups are likely already configured. The downsides are the same as with a home server, the white IP and upload speed problems. Plus, built-in packages often lag behind the current release by several versions. If you're installing on a NAS, install via Docker rather than the App Store. That way you control the version yourself. One more thing to calculate before you start. How much disk space do you actually need? Look at how much space your photo gallery takes right now. You can see this in your phone's settings. Multiply that by 2. Nextcloud stores previews, and on a large library, they consume a noticeable chunk of disk. Add documents, buffer for file version history, and the trash bin. By default, deleted files stay for 30 days and take up space. A rough formula: photo volume times 2 plus documents plus 30% buffer. A person with 20,000 photos typically fits within 150 to 200 gigabytes. A family of 4 is closer to a terabyte. The conclusion: for your first self-hosted cloud, deploy on a VPS with 2 cores and 4 gigabytes. It's hard to make a mistake here, and if you don't like it, just don't renew and you've lost nothing. A home server makes sense when you're sure you have a public IP and decent upload speed, and when your data volume is measured in terabytes. Once the server is ready, we connect over SSH. There's nothing to install. The client is already on your machine. On Windows, open PowerShell. On macOS and Linux, open Terminal. Run the command on screen. The first time, it asks whether to trust this server. Type yes in full and press enter, then enter your password. The IP address and password usually arrive by email after the server is provisioned. You can also find the IP in the server card in your hosting control panel, though the password is only sent by email. Before we get to the installation itself, a word on what it used to look like. Installing Nextcloud used to be a half-day project. Setting up a web server, PHP with dozens of modules, a database, cron, then manually issuing a certificate. Errors were common. All of that has changed. There's now an official all-in-one image, a single container that deploys and manages all the others. The Nextcloud developers recommend it. We'll run one command and everything else happens in the browser. But before that, a few setup steps. First, update the system. Run the command on screen and wait for it to complete. Next, a step many people skip, and that's a mistake. Running as root constantly is not good practice on your server. Create a separate user and give them admin rights. This improves the security of your data and your server. Run the commands on screen. When the add user command runs, the system will ask for a password for the new user. Set it, remember it, enter it twice. The remaining fields are optional. The second command gives the new user administrator privileges. The next important step is setting up SSH key access. Why does this matter? Password-based login is an open invitation to bots that continuously try passwords on every server exposed to the internet. Within a day of launch, the logs will show thousands of attempts. That's completely normal. Let's look at our fresh server in real time right now. As you can see, attempts are happening in real time. The server is brand new, just provisioned. To set up SSH keys and disable password login, run the command in a separate terminal. Not on the server, but on your local machine. Open Windows PowerShell and run the commands on screen in sequence. The first command creates the key. The second copies it to the server. You'll need to enter the password for the user we just created. Then open a new terminal tab and connect via SSH using the new user's name and the server IP. The connection succeeds without a password prompt. Authentication happened via SSH key. All further commands will run under this new user, so some will require sudo. The first time we need sudo is when disabling password login. Open the SSH configuration file. Find two lines, password authentication and permit root login. Set both to no. Save the file, exit, and restart the SSH service. Now we enable the firewall and open only what we need. Order matters here. Open port 22 first, then turn the firewall on. Do it the other way round, and you lock yourself out of your own server. Run the commands on screen and confirm when asked. Port 8080 is the Nextcloud All-in-One admin panel. It's password protected, but you can close it after setup and only open it when needed. Port 3478 is only needed if you plan to use video calls. Now let's install Docker. One important warning first, do not install Docker via Snap. Nextcloud All-in-One may not work correctly with it, or may not work at all. On Ubuntu, Docker is available through Snap, and that's the most common source of mysterious errors during all-in-one installation. The Snap version runs in isolation and prevents the container from managing other containers. Install using the official script with the command on screen. Once Docker is installed, verify it's working. Check that port 80 is free with the command on screen. All the prep work is done. Now install Nextcloud. Run the command on screen and wait. While the installation runs, let's go through what the command does. The restart always flag ensures the container starts automatically after a server reboot. The three publish flags expose ports: 80 for Let's Encrypt verification, 8080 and 8443 for the admin panel. The first volume is persistent configuration storage, so settings survive container updates. The second volume is access to the Docker socket. This is what allows the master container to create and update all the other containers. When the output stops at ready to handle connections, that's success, not a freeze. The container keeps running in the foreground, so this window won't return to the prompt. Leave it running and move over to the browser. Installation complete. Now open a browser. Two situations here. If your domain isn't yet pointed, go to the server's IP with port 8080. The installation output tells you this. If you've already added a DNS record, go straight to your domain with port 8443. Our domain is already pointed. Let's go. The first thing you'll see is a passphrase. Save it somewhere safe. This is what you'll use to recover access to your Nextcloud if something goes wrong. After saving it, click Open Nextcloud AIO Login. Enter the passphrase and click Login. Enter your domain and click Submit. On the next setup screen, check the box to install Nextcloud Hub. That's the current version. Without the checkbox, you'd be installing a previous version. For the Office editor, select Nextcloud Office by Collabora Online. Collabora is the stable choice. The newer EuroOffice option is tempting, but potentially rough around the edges at this point. In the optional containers section, ClamAV is questionable. A gigabyte of RAM for antivirus on a personal cloud doesn't seem worth it. Full-text search requires over a gigabyte and triggers a long initial indexation, during which Nextcloud is unavailable, also debatable. Leave Imaginary enabled. Without it, photo previews will open painfully slowly. Nextcloud Talk can be left enabled if you plan to use calls. We already opened port 3478 for that. Nextcloud Talk recording. Skip it. It's resource heavy and most people don't need it. Same for Docker socket proxy and hard. Set your preferred time zone. Click Save Changes and launch the containers. Wait for all containers to show green. Once everything is green, look just below the container list. The Nextcloud admin credentials are there, username, and a long-generated password.
Note that this is not the passphrase we saved earlier. That one opens the AIO panel. These log you into Nextcloud itself. Copy them, open the Nextcloud web interface using the button shown, and log in. Change that password to your own straight away in Personal Settings, under Security. You're on the Nextcloud Start dashboard. Installation is complete and everything is working.
How to connect to Nextcloud from a PC and a phone. We'll cover that in the next videos. There's also an alternative way to get Nextcloud up and running faster. You can order a server with Nextcloud pre-configured directly from HostKey.
Go to invapi.hostkey.com, register, and log in. Open the Order Server tab, choose your region and server type, Virtual Server. Pick a configuration that fits your needs. The Mini works well. Under the Software tab, select Nextcloud. Optionally, in the Automatization tab, you can set a convenient machine name and password, and most importantly, enter your domain. If you add it here and set up the DNS record on your registrar's side, the server will be provisioned with your domain already configured.
Choose a billing period. The longer the period, the bigger the discount, and click Order. Link in the description.